This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order, and the chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilman Harris.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Avery.
Here.
Eccles. Stewart.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present. The meeting is open for business. Phil Swindle will lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day that you have given us. Thank you for life and for the present of liberty that you have given us through this nation. Grant these men and all men and women who serve our cities and our states and our nations and our counties as they protect those rights that you have given us that are inalienable, unable to be taken away because they're gifts from you. Bless these men as they make decisions. Guide them into making the right decisions for this city and for this region. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Public Safety and Recreation Committee meetings, work session, and council meeting on January the 31st.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be number saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
Chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of the accounts for the week of January the 27th through February the 2nd.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be number saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
I don't guess we have any proclamations since we don't have the mayor. Unfinished business. The nuisances on property located at 1310 Alabama Avenue have been abated by the owner. Therefore, no action by the council is needed. B is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property located at 813 South 6th Street in District 5. The resolution was tabled for 30 days on January the 3rd. What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, take the vote.
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be number saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
9 through 13, this is a time and place as advertised to conduct public hearings allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of resolutions assessing nuisance abatement liens against property. This is for grass cutting that has been performed, and we have 5 locations. I'm going to read the addresses and names, and anyone who wishes to speak about any of these may come forward. 920 Avenue G, District 3, $421, Kevin and Dana Calhoun. 10 is 921 Avenue G, District 3, $211, Dorothy L. Dupree. 11 is 1115 Wells Avenue in District 3, $271, Carlin and Rodney Johnson. 203 South 22nd Street, District 6, $136, State of Alabama Property Tax Division and Lattice Kimball. 906 Central Avenue, District 6, $151, Robert E. Darnell. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to any of these resolutions?
Yes.
Would you please come forward to the microphone? State your name and address, please, ma'am, to the city clerk.
I'm Dorothea Dupree. I live at 206 Argyle Circle, but I have property at 921 Avenue G that I have been paying somebody to cut all summer long for the last 4 or 5 years. And this is why I'm wondering when was this supposed to have been cut by the city?
Is anybody here from the...
John's here.
Can't see you for the glare. He's checking.
Cut 2010. 2010. May the 14th of June
have somebody cutting that yard for the last 5 years.
Well, all I can tell you is I looked at it, and it's not in compliance with the city ordinance, and so we had to cut it.
Okay, did you all send me a bill stating that it had been cut?
I'll be glad to discuss it with you as a council and show you the file and go over it with you if you want to do it that way.
Because I don't,
Yeah, I know.
Were you checking to make sure that?
yes, I was. Even before I paid him, I would go over and check it out.
Well, the city don't cut them unless they're about 12 inches high, so that's.
Well, this is what I'm wondering. I mean, I don't know when this could have been.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, if you'll get with him,
I'll get with her and go over everything.
Okay.
We'll get it worked out to your satisfaction.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I'm going to ask that
Pull that one
we pull that one
for the time being.
for the time
Item
being.
number 10.
Yeah,
Pending the outcome.
yeah, pending the outcome, yeah.
we'll just table it.
Should table it.
Well, I mean, let's vote on the other one. I want to pull that one out, and then we'll come back and vote on it. That's the way we need to do it, Roger? Okay,
So we'll need to make a motion that it.
but there's a motion, he just read those, so let's go through that. And I'm going to ask, pull that one off, and then we'll come back and I'll ask to table it.
Okay.
Okay.
In other words, 920 Avenue G, District 3, $211 is pulled. The
From
other-
this motion, yeah.
The other four, do we have a motion for the other four?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt resolutions that are item numbers 9, 11, 12, and 13 on the agenda, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries to adopt those four resolutions.
Now make a motion, we table item 10.
Second.
Second.
For how, is it indefinite or what? You set a time?
No, I think it's going to be taken care of. I mean, I know it's going to be taken care of. So I just ask that it be, table it.
Indefinitely.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to table item number 10 indefinitely, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries to table.
Okay, 14 is a resolution rejecting all bids on number 3142 for rehabilitation of structure at 2312 Cancer Avenue due to the sale of the property. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
15 is a resolution authorizing supplemental agreement with AlDOT regarding resurfacing of Forest Avenue from 7th Street to 12th Street. The agreement will remain in effect unless terminated by 30 days' notice by either party. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, Brother Chad, when are we planning on actually doing the resurfacing on this? I know this is something that the state always do when a new governor comes into effect, and now I think they're changing their policies. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It looks like they're just taking away the termination date. There's generally a date from the end of each term for a governor so that he can sign a new agreement. This is just going to help them with the paperwork, but basically everything else stays the same. Now, this is a MPO project, and we are currently in the design phase of it. So actually negotiating a fee with a firm right now.
Okay.
How about telling us where we stand on the paving project for this year?
The annual paving,
Yes.
those roads are still being reviewed and gotten with, I think about 4 of you guys to see priorities. And as soon as that's done, we can move forward with that. Funding's in place.
Very good.
Okey dokey. Did we take the,
Not yet, we were
We read it.
discussing. We
We
were
read it.
still discussing.
okay. Is any other discussion?
Clerk, will you take?
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, Motion carries to adopt.
16 is a resolution authorizing agreement with the state of Alabama EMA. This is for hazard mitigation grant in the amount of $122,352 for individual safe rooms. The federal portion amount is $82,397, and the remaining $39,955 provided by the individual property owners. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. President, I've had, and I'm sure other council members have had, people to come up and talk to them about these safe rooms or a safe area when it comes down to storms. And I want them to understand that these are individuals who are putting these in, and not the city of Gadsden or any governmental entity other than the federal government chipping in. So if there's anybody who wants to build a safe room, they can do that on their own. But I think it would be impractical for the city to try to build safe areas for communities, because you're talking about trying to cover 30-some thousand, almost 40,000 people, and I don't know if we could afford to do that, so.
Well, if you start with my house, then you can do that.
Oh, okay. I think if we started everybody's house, we could do it. So you're right. So hopefully people will understand that when you see these safe rooms going up in these communities where they've had a lot of tornadoes and stuff, those are primarily individuals. And then when you have a rural area where you have a limited number of people, and then they do come together and put in group shelters, but it's not going to be practical for us to do that in the city of Gadsden.
Is there any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
17 is another resolution authorizing agreement with the state of Alabama EMA. This is for another hazard mitigation grant in the amount of $122,058 for individual safe rooms. The federal portion amount is $85,206. The remaining $36,852 provided by the individual property owners. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, is there any allowance or subsidy for low-income residents? I mean, I can see where this would cater to those who have the financial capacity to put up their portion, but can anybody help me with that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I haven't seen it.
I think that question was asked, if I remember correctly, in some of the Jefferson County or Birmingham area. And if I remember correctly, in talking to a couple of council members down there, there is nothing that the state or the federal government has set aside, but I think the city of Birmingham was going to try to put up some type of program to offset some of the costs. I think that was the fight about using some of their community development monies. Again, but they've got a tornado alley, so I could see, the possibility of doing that in some of those areas, but as overall, no.
So since we don't have anybody from the mayor's office here, can we make sure that the record just kind of reflects that we're interested in just kind of better understanding how this may appeal to low to moderate income families?
We taking the vote on this?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Any other discussion?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
First reading ordinance authorizing sale of liens against property located at 1125 Christopher Avenue. Willie R. Guyton has offered $600 to satisfy liens totaling $5,265.40 for demolition and grass cutting abatement. This ordinance was presented today for the first reading, and the council will vote on it next week.
Mr. President, if there's no objection, I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to consider.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir. The property on the next, this is the individual who owns the property next door. The check ain't in the mail, the check is in the vault, so we got the money. But of course, he still has to deal with the state of Alabama and the property owner. We're just trying to get it back on the tax roll and get somebody to paying taxes on it as opposed to just sitting there.
Is there any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Number 19 is an ordinance authorizing sale of property located at 1605 Fillmore Avenue. The city files suit to foreclose on a nuisance abatement lien and purchase the property at a judicial foreclosure sale for $3,616.89 last January. Sedalia Cruz has offered $800 to purchase the city's interest in the property. The ordinance presented today for the first reading. The council will vote on it next week.
Mr. President, I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to consider this morning, since we do have the check in hand.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
I'll ask for approval, please.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
This is a couple of examples of how we encourage people to look at property near you, especially when there's been an abatement done. We will, like in these two circumstances, practically give the property away to get it back on the tax roll and get it back in private hands. So.
Keep us from having to continue to cut the grass.
Is there any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
New business, is there any new business? It's unusual. Department reports, committees, boards. Remarks by the mayor and the council. The mayor's not here, so we'll start with Billy.
Thank you. I've only got two things. I just want to remind everybody also again today that we are in the process of celebrating Black History Month, and I'll encourage you to participate in a program someplace during the month to give honors to those people of color who have contributed to the well-being of our nation. There are a lot of people, as Tom Joyner would say, little-known facts about a lot of people who contributed that their names are never mentioned. And they certainly were not in the history books when I was in school, so maybe today things are different, and it's a little more inclusive today in today's society. And also, Johnny Cannon is going to speak more to this because there's a district meeting. It's going to be held in his district on the 13th. But now I want to encourage those people who have concerns about the cemetery in Alabama City. If you have concerns, come out to that meeting, ask questions, and get information so that we don't be giving out false information, or that we don't be in a position of saying what's happening over there that really isn't happening. So if you're interested in what's happening with the cemetery, please come out to Johnny's meeting on the 13th at 5:30, and he'll talk more about that. Thank you.
Eric?
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things. Do want to recognize my mother, who's in the audience. It's not often she's able to get away and make the meeting, so I appreciate her taking time to come out and support her son. So for whatever you think of me, there's part of the problem right there. So.
You better recognize him.
Better be careful.
The district meeting for District 2 will be this Thursday. What date is that, the 8th? This Thursday, the 8th, at 6:30 at Thompson. The 9th? Okay. This Thursday, the 9th, at Thompson Community Center at 6:30. As always, we'll be covering a lot of ground, so I encourage everyone, both within and outside of the district, to come out and support us. Along with February being Black History Month, February is also Heart Health Month as well. So I've lost at least one family member to heart-related issues and heart disease. So I'm a huge proponent. I support the American Heart Association financially, and also try to support them with my time as well. So I encourage folks to support any of those activities. I received information from Quality of Life Health Services earlier this week about some of the activities that they'll be supporting across the community. So please try to get out and support those activities where you can. Last Friday, thanks to all of those who wore red for women on last Friday, because that was one of the key events, or one of the kickoff events for Heart Health Month. One item that I do want to mention, and I've asked that my fellow council members be patient with me as I walk through this, is I'm going to be asking this council at some level, and probably sooner rather than later, to consider, and Roger, this is of importance to you, to consider a one-year moratorium on business licenses for payday loans and title loans and check cashing businesses. There's some history throughout the state. I think the legislature is being actively lobbied as it relates to this. I think the predatory practices and predatory lending effects are well documented, and I think I'm safe in saying that those types of businesses at this point do not support our community development strategy and our vision for community development. So they serve to pepper our landscape with a lot of less than desirable signage and things that we may not be that much in support of. And one thing that I think gets mentioned, and I don't want to overstate this because I'm not the subject matter expert in this area, but I think we're limited in terms of the amount of business licensing or the amount of revenue that we get from those types of businesses. I think we may even be limited to just the licensing fees. I don't know that we gain much else relative to revenue from them. So there's not a huge financial impact, and they tend to prey on the poorest of our citizens. So again, that's something I'll be bringing up and asking the city attorney to help me to draft, and in hopes of us, I know we can't indefinitely suspend those types of business licenses, but I know that we can, for a limited time at any rate, have a moratorium on that kind of activity. So I ask the council and the mayor to support me in that activity. During my district meeting on Thursday, I'll be talking some, and I'm likely to have the city engineer there as well, to talk some about the 411 bypass project and some of the progress that we've made there. So those that have an interest in that project, again, if you'll attend the meeting, we'll give some updates as it relates to that. And the last thing I wanted to mention is the year's getting by us. We're already through January, and the summer months will be here before long. And as you recall, last year we funded a summer jobs program for our young people. And it is my desire that we will have the support of the council and the mayor to do that again this year. So I ask us to start the process now of identifying ways to actively and sufficiently fund that activity so that we can support our young people. There's also a White House conference call on Thursday to talk about some of the impending legislation regarding summer jobs that's being pushed from the national level. Not sure how that may support us at this point, but that's something of interest. So that's it.
Robert?
It could support us big if we get in on that conference and ask for some of those funds, hopefully. Again, I go along with that moratorium. I'm not sure. There was a federal panel that was in Birmingham, I think last week, I believe it was, holding public hearings on both sides of that issue. So we might have something coming at the federal level pretty soon, but that's a great idea. Maybe we could do that. I'm not sure what we can do from a legal standpoint. Roger, can we do that, hold up any additional licenses at this point, or what?
Well, typically the licenses have already been issued for this year. They were supposed to have been in by the end of January, so.
No, I'm talking about new licenses. I mean,
I know Birmingham attempted to do something. I'm not sure, I haven't followed that litigation to see exactly how it progressed.
Okay.
So I don't know
So
how.
if you will, follow it up and let us know.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I want to congratulate the Gadsden City Boys Titan basketball team for that great victory last night. They beat the number 2 team in the state,
Number 3, Robert.
or the number 3 team in the state,
4, I'm sorry.
the number 4 team in the state,
It's 3.
or whatever they are.
According to
The-
the paper, it's 3.
The University of Hoover. Let me put it that way, so everybody know who that is. They go out and they probably got some international students playing, and they got students from all over the country playing. So it's the University of Hoover. So we beat them last night. Hopefully, that's a preview and what's going to happen in the regional tournament in Jacksonville in a few more weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. Looks like we finally might know how to get to Birmingham. I don't know. We'll just wait and see. That's all I have.
Yeah.
They not only whipped them, beat them, they whipped them.
They sure did.
They gave them a whipping last night, and it was a packed-out crowd of about 2,000 in the school there. The only thing I would like to emphasize again, we've had a lot of car break-ins over the past few months, and just everybody be aware, pay attention to your neighbors' cars and your cars, and especially if you have a law enforcement car in your neighborhood, keep an eye on it. That's really a scary scenario, breaking into a police car. So just everybody try to be aware, and let's see if we can put these people where they belong. That's all I've got.
Johnny?
Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to kind of talk about the community meeting we're going to have Monday, the 13th of February at 5:30. It will be at Banks Park. The only subject we will be talking about that Monday will be the Alabama City Cemetery down there off Hickory Street, and we're going to have a bunch of people there and hope the community to come out. We're going to try to decide what the community wants down there. And if we want to our cemetery spaces are running out down there, so we need to really see what we want to do down there. And also, too, I'd like to invite everybody this Thursday night to Walnut Park Elementary School at 5 o'clock. The Board of Education will be meeting there. So everybody in District 6 or the City of Gadsden wants to come to the Board of Education, it will be at 5 o'clock this Thursday, which will be the 9th. That's all I've got.
Ben?
That's all I had before he said what he said. I don't have anything.
Okay. Then this meeting is adjourned.